Quranic Miracle, The Southern Journey of Alexander the Great. Part 4. His Journey towards the South. This journey will take him to India through the Hindu Kush mountain pass of Khyber. In the fifth part we follow Alexander finally on his way southward back to Persia along the Indus River valley. The Quran chapter 18 verse 92 said, "Then followed he another way." In 329 BC, after establishing Alexandria Ischate, now Khajand in present-day Tajikistan, the furthest north he has reached, he went back to Maracanda fighting the barbarians at its vicinity and at the shores of the Oxus River. He used this city as a base of operations in Central Asia for 2 years. He went as far as Margiana where he established Alexandria in Margiana. Back to Maracanda, he proceeded to Nautaka in Sogdiana. He went further east to establish Alexandria on the Oxus in 328 BC. Alexandria on the Oxus has the coordinates 37 degrees 10 minutes north, 69 degrees 23 minutes east. He continued his journey southward, back to Bactra. In the spring of 327, he seized the almost impregnable high rock fortress of Ariarmazes and captured the Bactrian prince Oxyates. In a political maneuver, Alexander is said to marry Oxyates's daughter Roxana to cement his eastern empire. This is what often empire builders do. He proceeded to Alexandria on the Caucasus near Kabul. In classical times, the Hindu Kush were also designated as the Caucasus in parallel to their western equivalent, the Caucasus Mountains between Europe and Asia. Alexander had previously in March 329 BC built forts in what is now Bagram, at the foot of the Hindu Kush, replacing forts erected in much the same place by Persia's King Cyrus the Great c. 500 BC. Crossing to India. The Hindu Kush mountain range separates the northwestern region, the land of the barbarians, from the Indian subcontinent. It served as a natural geographical barrier for India. It has also been the passageway during the invasions of the Indian subcontinent. Until, when he reached a tract between two mountains, he found, beneath them, a people who scarcely understood a word. Verse 93. Khyber Pass. The Khyber Pass is a 53-kilometer (33 miles) passage through the Hindu Kush mountain range. It connects the northwestern frontier of present-day Pakistan with Afghanistan. At its narrowest point, the pass is only 3 meters wide. On the north side of the Khyber Pass rise the towering, snow-covered mountains of the Hindu Kush. The Khyber Pass is historically the most famous mountain pass in the world. Conquering armies have used the Khyber as an entry or exit point for their invasions of India or major trading route for centuries. India is so important because of its unending fertile plains and riches. The Khyber Pass winds northwest through the Safed Ko range near Peshawar to Kabul, changing in width from 3 to 137 meters. The mountains on either side have steep mountain slopes and cannot be climbed only in a few places. The pass is walled by precipitous cliffs that vary in height from about 180 to 300 meters. The pass reaches its highest elevation at the border between the present-day Afghanistan and Pakistan. Historically, the Aryans passed through the pass descending upon the fertile northern plains in 1500 BC, pushing and subjugating the indigenous Dravidian population southward and settling down to form a complex human interaction in history chapters of human civilizations. The Aryans' invasion of India has subsequently produced a caste system from interactions of multifactorial causation. Be it racial, economic, and ethnic differences have stimulated the development of this vague social system, yet not understood by any standard of scholarship. What is practically evident that the maltreatment of Dalits in India has roots going back to the origins of the caste system in the Hindu religion. Varnas are light-skinned while Dalits are dark-colored. Like Aborigines in every continent, the invaders impose a religion that gives them the privileged position. Strangely, even the later Muslim invaders adopted the forged un-Islamic class stratification, giving the Ashraf supremacy over Ardal caste. Because of this unfortunate misuse of religion as a tool of subjugation, the medieval Indian Muslim rulers, who are in reality in simplified expression later-date Aryan invaders because of their Mongolic descendants, has made Islamic conversion among the Dalit untouchables very unattractive in their pursuit for a religion that will deliver them from discrimination and misery, better than Buddhism so far. In the 6th century BC, the Persians under Cyrus I crossed through the Khyber Pass into Punjab to annex yet another domain to the Achaemenian Empire. In 326 BC, it is a historical consensus that Alexander the Great marched through the rugged pass to conquer the Indus Valley civilization and follow the footsteps of the fallen Achaemenian Empire. During his invasion of the Indus Valley, Alexander the Great was able to gain control of Taxila in 326 BCE without a battle, as the city was surrendered by its ruler, King Ambi Omphis in Greek. Greek historians wrote that Alexander was welcomed by the citizens of the city, and he offered sacrifices and celebrated a gymnastic and equestrian contest there. Ambi had sent an embassy to Alexander, while the latter was still in Sogdiana, along with presents consisting of 200 talents of silver, 3,000 fat oxen, 10,000 sheep or more, 30 elephants, and a force of 700 horsemen, and offered for surrender. Reference 1. He appears to have been on hostile terms with his neighbor, Porus, who held the territories east of the Hydaspes. On reaching the plains of Indus Valley, Ambi met him with valuable presents, placing himself and all his forces at Alexander's disposal. Alexander not only returned Ambi his title and the gifts, but he also presented him with a wardrobe of Persian robes, gold and silver ornaments, 30 horses and 1,000 talents in gold. Reference 2. Alexander was strengthened by Ambi in constructing a bridge over the Indus where it bends at Hind Fox 1973, supplied their troops with provisions, and received Alexander himself, and his whole army, in his capital city of Taxila, with every demonstration of friendship and the most liberal hospitality. Subsequently, Ambi accompanied Alexander with a force of 5,000 men and took part in the Battle of the Hydaspes. After the defeat of Porus, the two rivals were reconciled by the personal mediation of Alexander, and Ambi, after having contributed zealously to the equipment of the fleet on the Hydaspes, was entrusted by the Alexander with the government of the whole territory between that river and the Indus River. Post-reconciliation with King Porus, Ambi married his daughter to the son of Porus. Plutarch, giving an exaggerated estimate of the size of the realm of Ambi, says that it was as large as Egypt, with good pasturage, too, and in the highest degree productive of beautiful fruits. Strabo refers to as spacious and very fertile, adding that some say that this is larger than Egypt. Reference 2. With such a large stretch of vast precious land to rule, the natural apprehension of any ruler in such place is the invasion of the northern barbarians, whose only barrier from plundering these riches is the range of mountains that separated the Indian subcontinent Indus Valley from their natural abode in the northwestern steppe. Here comes the Quranic miracle. It showed that the two-horned conqueror we now recognize to be Alexander was requested by the people he met after crossing two mountain ranges sad-dain for protection against the barbarians by blocking the mountain pass. Because it's the only route they can invade his kingdom through. The Quranic expression of two mountain ranges with the word sad-dain is not only poetesque but picturesque of an unassailable walled region with a passage. It describes the mountain ranges better than the word jibal, i.e. mountains, as used severally elsewhere in the Quran. They ask thee concerning the mountains. Say, my Lord will uproot them and scatter them as dust. Quran 20 verse 105. There is no coincidence that the Taxila king Ambi, who showers Alexander with gifts, and assisted him in building a bridge for his army to cross the Hydaspes river, will surely require a barrier built for him against the barbarians. Alexander has a first-hand experience with the Scythians in his sojourn in the northern frontiers. He knows their viciousness and savagery. They said, O Zulkarnain, the Gog and Magog people do great mischief on earth, shall we then render thee tribute so that thou mightest erect a barrier between us and them? Quran 18 verse 94. He said, the power in which my Lord has established me is better than tribute, help me therefore with strength and labor, I will erect a strong barrier between you and them. Verse 95. Bring me blocks of iron. At length, when he had filled up the space between the two steep mountain sides, he said, blow with your bellows. Then, when he had made it as fire, he said, bring me, that I may pour over it, molten copper. Verse 96. It is evident that the barrier must definitely be in the narrow passages of Khyber Pass near the old Peshawar settlement. The Khyber Pass is of special military interest, broad enough to allow for the passing of large numbers of troops. It has often been the point of ingress for armies invading the subcontinent. After a steep ascent at its southern entrance, the pass rises gradually to Fort Ali Masjid, 3,174 feet, where the Khyber River leaves the pass to the south. For 5 miles from Ali Masjid, the pass becomes a defile not more than 600 feet wide, flanked by imposing and precipitous walls. Reference 3. There is a recent artificial passage made across the northern range for modern transportation as a point of distinction from the ancient natural pathway which Alexander passed through. Peshawar's recorded history dates back to at least 539 BC, making it the oldest city in Pakistan and one of the oldest cities in South Asia. During the Alexander invasion, it was under the Taxilas province. Archaeological studies for discovery of copper and iron ore deposits, smelting, and excavation sites, or some artifacts around that segment of the mountain's pass is becoming mandatory to confirm the exact position of the barrier. Next, by Allah's will, we are going to look into who are the people who scarcely understood a word, and the modern-day identity of the Gog and Magog people. It's truly humbling for me, to see that nobody, despite many attempts at identify the location of the barrier built by Zulkarnain, today with finer geographical instruments and encyclopedic knowledge available at the fingertips, the precision of the Quranic narrative is proving the divine origin of the revelation. This Quran is not such as can be produced by other than Allah. On the contrary, it is a confirmation of revelations that went before it, and a fuller explanation of the book, wherein there is no doubt, from the Lord of the worlds. Quran 10 verse 37.